Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Today I'm going to talk about a brand that I have never owned before, but it is something that has always been on my wish list, something that I've always known I'm going to buy, but just never really got around to it. And that's the brand Orient. There's quite a few different watches in their lineup that do interest me, but it's always the kind of watch brand that I've seen, I've thought, that's quite interesting, I quite like that, I do want to experience it, but I've just never got around to buying them. When I've watched videos about them, when I've seen reviews about them, when I've looked online and seen photos, they have looked nice, but they've never gone, you must buy this right now. And that was up until just recently, where I came across this Orient Bambino version 2, and it was at a really reasonable price. So I picked it up, and I've got it here for you today, and let's flip the camera around. I'm going to give you my first impressions of my first Orient, my first Bambino, and let's see whether me hanging off and not getting one for so long was a good idea, or perhaps I should have bought this much earlier. Alright, let's check it out. So we have the V2 model Orient Bambino that comes in this fairly simple little box. It's perfectly fine. It's sort of what you expect from a watch around this sort of value, and it certainly does the job, and it doesn't take too much room in your drawer with all your other watch boxes that are probably collecting for you. It does come on this very large pillow, which is actually quite good, nice and squishy. It's exactly sort of what you want. Keeps this watch nice and safe. And then in the box we have this very lovely little watch. I have to say I'm actually rather impressed by it. As I've mentioned, I've watched lots of videos about the Orient brand and about the Bambino as well. And it's always been a watch and a brand that has interested me, but it's never made me go out there and buy it straight away. But now that I have some hands-on experience with it, well, I think perhaps I should have bought it a little bit earlier, because it's a really lovely watch that presents really well, looks really good, and is lovely to wear. Firstly, we've got that very nice sort of slightly satin cream or white dial with those nice applied indices, these beautiful hands, nice long second hand. Has a very nice sort of K shape, a little bit different to some of the other sort of dress watches which more have that sort of bowl shape. This is more of a flat edge with a little bit of brushing. Has a polished case back, and it comes on this very nice sort of crocodile style leather band, which normally I don't really love them, but this one's quite nice, and it comes on this really nice deployment clasp that actually works really well for me. Now inside the watch we have an automatic Orient movement which has hand winding, and it also has hacking. But let's get this on wrist, and let me show you how it looks on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. But let me show you this deployment clasp. I've had a few in my collection, but this is one of the better ones. It has a sort of a secondary section on one side, which then opens up a little bit larger for me, which is really good because although I just sort of have medium-sized wrists, I actually have quite large hands, and sometimes getting watches over my hand onto my wrist can be a little bit of a hassle. Whereas this one fits quite nicely. You clip down the first clip, you clip down the second clip, and then tuck it on. And here it is on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. It fits in really well within this medium-sized sort of wrist. It doesn't overhang, sits nice and flush. It's fairly thin, this watch, which is really nice with this sort of style. Sits nicely on wrist, really enjoyable to wear, nice and light, just sort of what you want out of a nice dress watch. And I think for the price that this one is available for, it's probably going to be one of the better value dress style watches that you can get. So yeah, I think I am rather impressed, and I think Orient is going to be on my shopping list for other models within their range. Thanks for watching this first impression video. I'm going to put this on wrist for a while. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to write some notes about the good and the bad, the things that I notice after a considerable amount of time of wearing it, and I'm going to come back to you with a full review. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.